Good afternoon. So I was tagged in a video the other day by Kaz from Kaz Outdoors to do these beginner wild camper tips, just a top 5. Now I've been meaning to do it for quite a while, but she tagged me just as I started back at work for 7 days, so I've not had a chance to do it. And this is my last day on my days off, so hopefully I'll get this out in time to keep Kaz happy. I will nominate some other people at the end. Whether they've been nominated or not, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully you'll find some of these tips useful. Even if you just take one thing from it, that's awesome. So enjoy it, and here come the tips. Okay, my first tip is one I used a lot. It's to watch YouTube. And when you're looking for advice or ideas of kit, tents, just places to go, YouTube is so full of it. I mean, in a good way. I mean, I've got a YouTube channel, obviously, but I learned from a lot of people by going through YouTube. There's some great content out there on YouTube. So much, varied degrees of, beginners. For example, there's a guy out there called Novice Wild Camper. Not like novice anymore, he's been doing it a while. But, people like that are great to follow. And he does a lot of it on a budget, and a lot of it's homemade. So, if you're wanting to do it on a tight budget, then Novice Wild Camper is a good one to look out for. Other than that, there's Paul Mesner, who's been doing it for a long time and has got more kit than Go Outdoors. But again, a great channel to follow because he does kit reviews, comparisons of kit, things like different stoves, what's the most efficient. So if again, if you're on a budget, he'll be able to cater to you. But also if you're on the high end, he can cater to you as well because he covers pretty much everything. He's got everything from a Hillyberg, well, several Hillybergs to, your OEX tents. So there's a bit of everything for everyone there. So check out Paul Mesner and the Novice Wild Camper. I'll put their details in the links below. Okay, my second wild camping tip for beginners is don't be obsessed with lightweight. If you don't know what that means, then that's a good thing. I've seen so many people get hung up on having the lightest pack size around. Everybody's constantly trying to buy the most expensive but lightest things. If you're a beginner, obviously you don't want your pack to be ridiculously heavy, but at the same time, you might not like it. So if you start wild camping and you spent £1,000 on all your gear or more, just to be as light as it's possible, and you go out on one camp and you hate it, then that's a lot of money wasted, and not many things hold the value apart from Hillybergs. So I just don't be obsessed with being lightweight. When I bought stuff to start with, I just did a lot of stuff on eBay. Bought reasonable makes, and sometimes I got some cheap Chinese stuff. And to be honest with you, one of the best pieces of kit I've ever bought is my OEX Solar X cook set, because that boils water so quick. I tried to replace it recently with a super lightweight bit of kit, which took forever to boil. So I won't go into the details, but yeah. So just because you're buying more expensive to go lightweight doesn't mean it's better kit. The OEX Solar from Go Outdoors, brilliant. It boils like a litre of water in I won't say seconds, but very quickly. Barely a minute. It's like a kettle, so quick. So don't be obsessed with spending a fortune on lightweight gear because it's not necessarily the best stuff out there. Just get what you can afford and what you can afford to carry on your back. At the end of the day, if we're carrying 2-3 stone on your back for a long way, it's a lot of weight. But if you're just going a couple of miles from the car and you want your luxuries, then pack as much as you can take. Just remember that you've got to be carrying it on your back. So if you are going a long way, you don't want to be carrying half your own body weight on your back, because you'll know about it after a couple of miles in. Right, my third piece of advice is make a checklist of all you need to take. I've got one on my phone, and what I do is before I'm going on any wild camp, I get all the stuff out that's on my list, put it all out on the bed, so I know it's all definitely there, and then I pack it away into my kit bag. But a checklist is, it's so simple, but it'll stop you forgetting things. Because I kept my tent and my tent poles separately, sometimes it's so easy just to put your tent in your bag and then forget your tent poles. I've never done it yet, but I've been, very close. So making a checklist and just methodically getting it out in the order that's in your checklist, even if you put it in certain categories like sleep kit, sleep system, tent, poles, pegs, etc. But making a checklist has saved me, you sometimes forget stuff anyway, just because it's the last thing. It's like getting some food out the fridge or, getting a bottle of water out the fridge or whatever. So you can still forget things, but having a checklist will drastically reduce the likelihood of you forgetting stuff. I swear by it. It's one of the best things I ever did. Sometimes I add to it, sometimes I take from it, but it's a full list, including winter kit. So I know what I don't need to take in winter and what I do need to take in winter. But you know, the whole list of my equipment is there, so I can go through it methodically, make sure I don't miss anything. That's a definite, that's a top tip. Should have left that. That should have been number 1, because that's, to me, is the best one ever. So that's number 3. Okay, number 4 on my list for wild camping for beginners is know your limits. Whether that be distance you're going to walk, how much you can carry. You know, there's so many things. Like, for example, I've done. I mean, I'm still a beginner. I've been doing it for less than a year now, but I've learned an awful lot in this year. And one of the things that I know that is difficult is if you're going camping with, say, a summer kit on your back. So you might have, for me, I don't know, 2 stone-ish sometimes. It all depends on if I take extra water, blah blah blah. But you know, that sort of amount, 2 stone on your back. If you're just walking, that's fine. But if you have to do any scrambling or even a bit of climbing to get to your destination, then, you know, it makes it a whole different ball game. You've got to be so much more careful. Not long ago, I went camping sort of top of Helvellyn onto Whiteside, and because I had quite a lot on my back, I knew I didn't want to go up Striding Edge because it's not particularly hard generally. I've done it a few times, not an issue. But when you've got 2 stone in your back, it makes your weight a bit different and your balance is a bit different. So I ended up going up Squirrel Edge, which, to be fair, isn't much better, and it's a little bit steeper. So that was quite hard, and you had to be, you know, keep your wits about you, because if you're carrying that much weight on your back and you lose your balance, you're going to fall backwards quite easily, as opposed to normally you might be more front heavy when you're climbing with no kit on your back. So just make sure you know your limits. If you don't think you can do it, or you think there's a risk of, you know, injury or even death, then do you want to risk it? At the end of the day, we go out camping, or we go out hiking, climbing, whatever. We want to go home at the end of the day, or I do anyway. I don't know how the rest of you. So I want to get home and I want to be in one piece. So you know, you just got to know what's safe to do. So yeah, know your limits. Don't push yourself too far, especially if you're on your own and there's no one else to go for help if you get stranded or you get injured. So that's number 4. Okay, and finally, number 5. To be honest with you, I've struggled to get 5 out because so many people have done this already, and I'm trying to be original and do ones that haven't been done before, which is quite tough when so many people on the internet have, you know, on YouTube have already done this. So this one has been done before, but to be honest with you, it's a very important one. And most people watching these videos, it's a given that you'll know this, but my number 5 is leave no trace. It's a bit lectury, if that's the right word, preachy, because it's basically telling you to tidy up after yourselves and don't leave a tip where you're camping. So you should, you know, when you finish camping and you've packed your tent up, nobody should be able to tell you that you've been there, apart from a bit of flat grass. You'll probably see in my videos, I obviously mention it when I've packed up, that there's nothing there apart from a bit of flat grass even. But yeah, it's so important because every year the Lake District and Scotland, etc., get flooded with wild campers. And there are some wild campers, well, they're not real wild campers, are they? It's a bit like, it's the difference between owning a bike and being a cyclist. You know, owning a bike don't make you a cyclist. So a lot of people have bikes, go through red lights and do what they want and drive on the pavements. Cyclists don't. Cyclists, in theory, follow the road traffic laws. So it's a bit like wild camping. There's people who say they're wild campers and go out, set fires all over the place, leave the litter everywhere, leave beer cans, bits of tents, rubbish, just crap everywhere. You know, don't be that person. So number 5 is leave no trace. It's really simple. If you take it in with you, take it back out with you. Always take yourself a couple of bin liners, even if it's small bin liners, or carrier bags to take out your rubbish. You probably shouldn't have that much rubbish anyway, but you know, even if it's a couple of beer cans or sweet wrappers or whatever, just take it out with you, because you know, the Lake District and all these places that we go wild camping are absolutely beautiful, and there's no reason why they should be, you know, defiled with like rubbish and crap. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than seeing piles of rubbish, especially for the people who live there and have to go out and clean up after you. So, you know, leave no trace. It's so simple and it's so easy to do, but it's one of the most important things. So there you have it. There's my 5 tips for beginner wild campers. I'd like to thank Kaz Outdoors for nominating me. I'll say I will be nominating, I don't think I've seen this person do it, so I'm going to nominate them. I'm going to Dave, the solo sommetier. I don't think he's done one, and I haven't seen him nominated, but so many people have done this video, I may not have watched them all. So if you've already been nominated, Dave, don't worry. And one more person who I don't think I've seen nominated, or I haven't seen a video from him yet, is Rich from Wild Astro. Again, those 2 guys put some great videos together, so go check them out. I'll put the links in the description, and hopefully you'll enjoy the videos as much as you enjoy mine. I was going to go out and do this video yesterday when I went out on a mammoth hike, But by the time I got up to Top Withens, which was where I was headed up on Haworth Moor, it was starting to get dark, and I thought, yeah, I don't want to be faffing about for half an hour here. I need to get back over the moors before it gets too dark. So I've come to my local-ish park to do a little video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you like this one and any others you've seen, please like and subscribe. Cheers guys, until next time. So there you have it. There's my 5 camping tips for wild campers. So there you have it. There's my 5 beginners wild camping tips. So there you have it. There's my top 5 tips for beginner wild campers. I can't say that. I've filmed it about 10 times. Just know your limits. Leave no trace. And just treat the, So that's my 5 beginner wild camper tips. Oh, I can't. So there you have it. There's my 5 wild camping tips for beginners. I'd like to thank Kaz Outdoors. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You've seen some of the videos. If you haven't, check them out. I'll put some links in the description, and you'll no doubt see some